thinking about it. It becomes addictive, I would say.
Yeah, and there's, to me, there's good addictions.
If you are just doing it for money, for profits, or any other interest,
Yeah, no,
you're
for
gonna
sure.
feel it. And
sure.
that's the kind of people that you're gonna attract.
Whether it's running or it's something else, make sure you find the community that you not just identify with, but that they're united in the same direction. I think that's what makes Run Club, for instance, special.
Relationships need to be something where both ends are constantly feeding each other.
Coming into the final stretch, at least for the race, is something unique. I've been to enough races where you might see one or two flags, but here people are proud to say where they're from. You're allowed to. You're not looked down upon. In fact, you're celebrated. And I think that's special. It just so happens to be that we're closer to Latin America, so our race has more Latin American and Caribbean flags than most races might. And that makes it different. That's something that I get excited by every year when I stand near the finish line and I see the Costa Rican flag, the Nicaraguan flag, the Mexican flag, whatever country you're from. And sometimes it's people from here that live here still that are waving their flag from their parents' country or somewhere where they were born and now they've lived here. You know, you've been here for a while too. You start to assimilate, but you assimilate in such a way that you're still allowed and welcome to say, this is where I'm from and this is the culture that I bring here. I bring this energy, I bring this music, I bring this attire, whatever it is, you know, we allow that here in Miami, and that's special. And I can't take credit for it. All I can take credit for is talking about it. And I think sometimes that's important that you say to your runners, you say to your constituents, you say to the spectators, you say to the community, you say to your leaders, hey, look, this is something different. Let's do whatever we can to foster this, whether it's, you know, the marketing or whether it's the music or the imagery that's used, all that stuff, it contributes to this idea that you can come to Miami, we'll welcome you. We still want you to, you know, respect the traditions and the ways of this country, but we will allow or we will celebrate your own traditions as well.
Absolutely. And not losing, you know, the biggest stake or the biggest highlight I have from having all this new, even though I live in San Diego for a while, it was a new experience for me because there are another kind of Hispanics over there, which is Central Americans. And that gives you a little bit more of a new, I thought we were all the same traditions. And then when I went there and I realized how different we are, I was like, oh, there's many more to know and being involved with. And I love that from Miami, that right now we are becoming a very diverse community. We've been always a very diverse community, but now we're implementing a lot of the American way of doing things. And it makes you proud of the country you are living, honestly, because first off, when you are an immigrant, you're obviously going to have some mental attachments to your hometown or to the place you grew up with. In. But when you come here and you've been living for, let's say, the amount of years that I've been here, for about 9 years, and you start getting exposed to a lot of the American traditions and a lot of things, like, for example, I love how Americans are so in love with their nation. They literally, they could die for their nation. And that, I feel like that's celebrated here.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of those personalities in your runs, because sometimes they actually go and put themselves in challenges just to represent their country and state, I did this because I'm paying respect to my brothers in the fire station, or to the police officers that we lost last year. And I think that's something a lot of cultures could copy or replicate, and it just creates this brotherhood where we are, even though we are different nationalities. I'm an immigrant. I respect this country. I respect the rules. More importantly, uh, even though with that in mind, I love how Americans have become more receptive, especially here in Miami, to new cultures. And Miami, I think, it's been the open gate for that. Now, going a little bit more into the future. I know we talk about the vision and how we see Miami. I think we have similar visions. But what do you envision for your ventures and yourself personally here in Miami? How do you envision the city growing? More like, it's unpredictable, but there are some visions that we could definitely, if we put the work, we could for sure materialize. And Miami has a lot of resources right now for growth. So how do you envision yourself here in the city?
I want to be part of anything that creates the opportunities for people to be happy. I think that the happiness factor in Miami could use a lift or two. I think we definitely celebrate a lot. We have parties, we go to clubs, and we have concerts, and we've got games and championships and things like that. But I think when you really kind of look under the hood and really scratch the surface off of things, you'll find that there's a bit more to do in terms of people's happiness here, and how that happiness is addressed. Is If I had the exact answer, I'd give it to everybody, but I could take some shots at it. There's certainly a need to make sure we're addressing our public spaces. We're improving the quality of our water, the bay itself, our surroundings are taken care of a bit more than they seemingly have been these last 30, 40 years. That there's a little more planning for the influx of people, so that people come and stay, because we have had now considerable, especially the last 6 months or so, some folks leaving. And I get it, Miami's a place where people come and go, but I'm hoping it's a place where people stay a little longer, because people have, ultimately what a city is it's people, it's buildings. So if we've got all these nice buildings and we just have people that come use our nice things and leave, we're not going to have a lot of happiness here. It's going to be, this transient city that we were many years ago, that I think we can't be again. I do think we have to respect some of our own heritage here in Miami. There's certainly some good things of our past that we should learn about and teach. We should celebrate our national parks. Our national parks, we're a pretty unique city that we're close to. We include Biscayne National Park, and we include Everglades National Park in a lot of, not just recreation, but in a lot of our appreciation for the city to protect those areas. I mean, we can talk about traffic. We can talk about maybe some crime issues, but in general, I think it's having passionate people such as yourself that care about the community, coming together, whether it's through a run club, which, by the way, I will say this to everybody, not to go off on a tangent, but whether it's running or it's something else, make sure you find the community that you not just identify with, but that they're united in the same direction. I think that's what makes Run Club, for instance, special. That day, everyone's going in the same direction, they're following the same path, and along the way, they're bringing people with them and inviting people out to join them in that. So whether it's running or something else, make sure you identify that. I don't want anybody to be thinking, oh man, if I'm not a runner, I'm not part of this community. No, it's not. That's not what we're saying. So yeah, I think our leaders are challenged with some sea level rise issues. Our leaders are challenged with the influx of folks that we were running out of room, physically. So I think that's going to be a challenge here. But Miami's in a good place. I just want to make sure that we're planning for an even better place.
I couldn't agree more. And I feel everything will come to the city's infrastructure at some point. And, you see some areas well developed like Brickell or Miami Beach that been around since, forever. But now you're seeing downtown. And now that I'm living here in downtown Miami, when you are part of the transition point and you see all the developments, like, for example, there's a building being built right in front of me. And it's crazy that when I moved in back in September, this building was nothing. It was nothing. And now we're 6 months in, 7 months in, and this building is almost completed. So it's coming together. I think the city, it's coming together to what we envision, which is making Miami a full-blown metropolis, something like New York or something like LA, but with its own nature, its own identity. And that's something I love about Miami, that when you're here, you feel the identity of the city. Like either the city or the people who are living here will let you know what this city is about. And it's about that, finding your place, finding your community, finding the place that you feel it's going to help you keep you motivated when you are on those down days.
Sure.
And keep you accountable, because you develop some sort of commitment when you join these clubs, because you start meeting new people who are going through the similar path that you're going through. And you feel commitment. You're like, damn, bro, I'm not gonna see these people today. If I don't see them today, then I need to wait until next Tuesday to see them. So you're like, you know what? I'm going. I'm pushing myself today. I know I'm tired, but it's time to go and focus on what we want to do. Now, talking a little bit more about the impact and how do you want to be remembered by the community, by the big community that back you up? What's the impact that you're planning? What's your impact that you would like to live in every single people that go to one of your communities or the marathon, the running clubs? What's the impact that you want to live in them?
I mean, my definition will probably evolve a bit as to what the actual tangible impact is. But if there was a description today of that impact, I would say it's making everything possible that inspires other people to help other people. So that I hope that's what they see. Other people see me and the team around me and the folks that help me, because I don't do any of this stuff alone. That they see, all right, these group of people, I happen to be one of them or a leader in this group, are helping others, and now those folks hopefully are doing the same to help others. And how they help them, it could be something as simple as starting a run club. It could be something as simple as inviting your neighbor out to dinner. It could be so many different things that you help others, and you look at your own service second, right? Like I think Miami has that rap that, I'm only responsible for me. It's only me. I'm first and you're second. Well, if we can pass on the message that no, it's the other way around. If this city would be so much better if everyone took care of themselves. No doubt, you don't want to be a burden to somebody else. So take care of your health, take care of your finances, take care of your your own family, all that. But take care of your neighbor. Like take care of your neighbor. Figure out a way to improve your neighbor's life, your city. Get back to it whenever possible. Make it part. Don't make it something you do on the side, make it part of what you do regularly. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of community service mentality, which is like, all right, I do everything for myself and then I do a little bit for everyone else. Turn that around, and life tends to be a little better when you see it, when you do it that way. At first it's hard, but eventually you start to realize that, you know what, if I wake up every morning only thinking about me first and foremost, everything else is going to be that much harder. I don't know. I that's the way I've tried to live. I'm not perfect. Nobody is, but I think that's made a lot of things successful. It's been, whether it's races, whether it's the teams I coach, whether it's the businesses I've started, just that much more successful when you see it from that perspective, and you approach problems and things like, all right, this is not just about me. This is about someone else.
And obviously we mentioned this throughout the entire conversation, but when you give and you take that approach of, you know what, maybe thinking about me the entire time is not gonna work. Like sometimes you are in this position where you are like, is it worth it for me to be every single day just thinking about what can I take from this person? What can I take from this job? What can I take? Like, no, start giving. Let's try with this. Start giving a lot more to your people, to the people who love you. Obviously, you need to be in the lookout because you don't want to be taken advantage of, even though sometimes it may happen. It's not your take. Like some people are like that and you're going to get hurt. You're going to move forward and that's it. But when you feel a constant feedback, something that you are giving, and the other person is receiving, but as well is coming back to you.
Yeah.
With, it doesn't have to be anything material. We're not talking about materialistic things. It could be materialistic things, you name it. But when you have that constant feedback and you understand that relationships need to be something where both ends are constantly feeding each other.
Yeah.
It's sentimental, emotional relationships, like with your fathers, with your parents, with your kids, with your couple, your husband or your wife, everything, friends, work relationships, business relationships. Everything needs to be about giving without expecting something in return. Right. But then I feel the relationship gets consolidated when the other end gives you as well. And you are like, well, maybe we'll both find joy in giving. And that's it's gonna make this relationship be amazing. Frankie, thank you very much, brother. It's been a great pleasure. I cannot thank you enough for the work that you've been doing in this community.
Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And this is, I just wanted to let you know that the people like you are the source of our inspiration. Why? Because of the things that we talked during this conversation. You are just about giving to your community, growing with the city. And look, if you can make a living out of it, amazing, obviously. But let's start with first giving, and then we will figure out the rest. You know what I mean? And that's the position I kind of try to share with my team involved in this show, and I want them to fall in love with giving as well. And I feel I'm achieving it. So
you're smiling, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. And we have a good time. Always have a good time. So. But I wanted to thank you, brother, because you've been a great inspiration. You are one of the first people when I started coming back to my fitness life and I started running again. I saw the work that you had in your community and how respected you are and the experience you provide to your people.
Thank you.
And I'm like, I definitely want to be not only part of this, but I want to build something similar.
Absolutely.
And we're doing it. So brother, thank you very much for coming in, sharing your story, and I really hope you enjoyed the conversation.
I loved it.
For our viewers, I cannot thank you enough for joining today. I feel we've been implementing and bringing special guests like Frankie here. And I really hope you are finding some inspiration in our content and you are using it, not only watching it, but implementing and using it to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve in life or bring some balance, gain some emotional intelligence. I really hope this is serving you well. And just please make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and see you on the next episode. Thank you very much.